Recording the session. Good. And so I want to believe we stopped at this point last week, model 2, isn't it so? Correct me? And this is where I believe we should be starting this morning. And just moving every other thing on my desktop so that it's not crowded, because I'll be going back and forth with some, yeah, just decluttering it for now. Okay, good. Is this the place we stopped last week? Did we do an introduction to this? The I statements in writing? Eunice, anyone, Tafadhali, just remind me.
No, we did not. We did not go through the introduction. It was just a mention, Mwalim.
But we stopped at the purple toenails.
Oh, yes. We went through the
Yeah.
purple toenails to the end.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yes.
So
we
that's
had to
where we stopped. So
yes.
we're starting here this morning.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's go through the I statements. How do you own your document? What do you do with it? We've just looked at how to identify your research question using these the purple toenails. Yeah. And I believe we did this all the way to no, we didn't. Okay, I think we did step 5. Yeah, so I will determine that. In this paper, I'll determine that. I'll prove that. I will show that. I will demonstrate that. I will argue that, depending on how you want to frame your research question, depending on the methodology you're going to use. Remember, I said different methodologies use different verbs. So explaining is a qualitative way of doing research, while analyzing will be a quantitative verb. And so you need to familiarize yourself with which verbs you need to use with the different theoretical frameworks. That's not a big deal. We will quickly look at that later on, but in the meantime, you can always find out, you can Google and find out for yourself. So in step 5 of 5, because these are 5 steps to use, so this is the last one, ask yourself, how can I illustrate my concept claim, my argument, my idea, whatever it is that you want to work on? How can my reader better understand it? Because you are writing to someone else whom you do not know. And they're going to read it from different locations, different time, and different ways. And so you need to be very, very clear about what you want to say, how you're saying it, and why you're saying it. Don't forget, even if you did your very best, someone will always have something to say about your research. It is never 100% correct, because somebody looking at your study from a gender perspective will always have something to say about it. Someone else looking at it from religious perspective. There are those who are going to look at it from methodological perspective. So there is, and take it positively. You know, they're not criticizing you, neither they're not critiquing you. Let me use the right term. They are critiquing what you've written. But many of us will want to believe you and your study are one and the same. No, detach yourself from your study unless you're doing qualitative. But for us, some of us who prefer doing quantitative, right from the word go, we have already detached ourselves from our study, because we are looking from our study from outside. We are not so immersed in it. So determine your approach, provide detailed explanations of all the aspects, the key components of your study, provide evidence and analysis. Do you have enough current empirical studies to support your work? The empirical support, which is within the last 5 years, within your academic domain, and most likely studies that are related to your target population, etc. And so you need to consider all that. Provide examples, finally, provide diagrams, figures, tables, or graphs, wherever possible. Now, what is a case study? And I think I looked at this last time, but anyway, let me just go through it. A case study is an in-depth research design that primarily uses a qualitative methodology, but sometimes includes quantitative methodology. Here you are focusing on one person or one particular population, yeah? So you're investigating an individual, a group of people, organization, or event, and these are at that particular time, for that particular purpose, yeah? So this is used to examine an identifiable problem, which is normally confirmed through research. It's used mostly to answer the how and the why questions. Yeah, how, for instance, how blended families affect academic performance of an orphan, a girl child. And so you might go and interview a group of girl children in a particular area regarding their experience of coming from blended families and how that affected their academic performance. Yeah, okay. So different case studies. Is this familiar to any one of you?
Yes, we did that.
Yes, we did this. We did this. We did all this. We did also this. We did this. Yeah. We did this. We did this. We did this. We have to start here. Yeah.
Yes.
So, writing guidelines. And how do you present statistics in text, in your main body? Now, you need to learn how to present statistics in the text. This includes how to implement standards for effective presentation, when to use words versus symbols, and the formatting, the type of formatting. Remember here, we are maintaining the APA 7th edition. So how do you format that? Yeah. Now, we will be looking at this in a separate section towards the end of this. Yeah. When we will be looking at references. How do you reference? Where do you write the titles of these? So it will come later in this. And here we also, and by the way, I can also send you notes in advance so that you can read these all by yourself, because I have notes, a lot of notes on these, which in my view, and especially this part here, should not really be a big deal. Yeah, because all of us, I want to believe, we all know how sensitive it is to write about racial, ethnic, sexual orientation, religious issues. And so you need to be very, very sensitive when you are referring to certain populations that you probably may be focusing on. Same to sexual orientation, including how to refer to people with differing sexual orientation, discuss sexual behaviors, and describe the sexual orientation of transgender person, the queer, and all these. How do you write that? And you see, we're living in a world that is trying to embrace everything about anything, etc. And so you do not know who will be reading your paper. Yeah. And so much as we may have our own views or beliefs and values about a certain issue, let us also be aware that other people may be having their own views and beliefs, etc. Yeah, and so let's be sensitive as to what we say and how we say it. Verbs and tenses, depending on the stage of your study. If it is still at the proposal, write in future. If you have now done your study, you've completed it, go through all your document to change all the verbs to past tense. In this study, I will. The researcher will look at this, that, and that. The data will be analyzed this way. But once you've done that, you go back and change everything to the researcher looked at this. The data was analyzed. The findings showed this, that, and that. So you change. You have to be very, very sensitive at what time you are writing your study. Is it at the proposal stage, or is it the tail end of your study? So learn how to write smoothly, including how to distinguish scientific writing from creative writing. Choose verb tenses, and clarify modifiers in nouns, noun strings, etc. Nowadays, you don't write he or she, you write there. Yeah. So wherever you come across he or she, just write there in the current APA edition. Tone, the tone that you're going to use in your work. Yeah. Learn how to achieve the appropriate tone for scientific paper, including strategies for remaining professional yet persuasive. Yeah. You are very professional. You're using the protocol that is required of you, but is it persuasive enough? Are your arguments compelling to the reader? Can your reader see your point of argument? Even as you compare, as you contrast, how is your work embedded in current? How is your work embedded in current findings, in current studies, etc.? So you need to be very, very persuasive. That's the key goal of doing research. So to this end, any questions so far, Dr. Dali? Any question from anyone?
Yes, Mwalimu.
Go ahead.
I feel because of the state I was in last week, I did not follow enough, and at the end I got I had to get off the class. I would request that I would get a way of following and catching up with last week's lesson. Whether I could get the recorded version and of the lesson for last week, please.
Yeah, I think I sent the recorded version. Did I?
And I even asked you on the side on WhatsApp, and I didn't get any reply. Maybe
Yes.
maybe I don't know how to get it. That is why I was asking. Could you guide me on how to get to the lesson?
Okay, let me just find out. Did anyone manage to open it? Eunice, did you open it after we went?
No, I didn't.
Is it that you did have time to open, or you tried and it didn't work?
I didn't have time.
Okay. Did anyone succeed? Kibui?
No, and I cannot see any recorded.
I've also
Session
never
for
seen
last
it,
week.
so I don't know where even where to find it so as to know whether I could open it or not.
So then I got caught up and I forgot to send it to you guys. That should be the case then. Thank you for pointing it out. So what I'll do, I'll check and forward it to you. I know some of you have been finding a bit difficult the other 2 cohorts that I'm teaching. Some people find it difficult to open. So what I did the last class that I taught, I downloaded everything and I saved it in YouTube. So it becomes much easier to follow it on YouTube. So let me see whether I'll succeed to do that this morning. I tried doing it yesterday. My laptop kept on telling me that my disk is full. So for another class, so I'll see whether I will succeed to do exactly that this morning after this. Okay. Any other question? Any other comment? Seems to be no any other question or any concern, so we can continue. Is somebody saying something, writing something? I've seen. Oh, this is Tuku. Okay. Elsie, are you okay?
Yes, I am, Mwalimu.
Yeah. You know, I have to look after my flock. I know my flock very well. So let's move on to something different, something totally new. That is level 2 heading to identify each subheading. So why are we starting at level 2? We should have started at level 1. Where is level 1? Did I miss something out in my notes? Yes, I missed out something. Let me start from level 1. I don't have it here, but let's do this. There are 5 levels in APA. They start from level 1 all the way to level 5. Now, when you are doing level 1, in fact, this is the right place. So when you are doing level 1, you're working on level 1. For your thesis, all the preliminary pages, the table of contents, acknowledgements, what else? All those preliminary pages, before you get to chapter 1, all the preliminary pages, I want you to get me clearly. All those headers in your thesis, especially at PAC, I don't know what happens at USIU, but if you are going to do it the APA style, the 7th edition, APA 7th edition, an institution that uses the APA 7th edition strictly, all those headers are level 1 headers. In other words, you center them. You bold and center them. That's what we call level 1 header. For instance, like this section here, level 2 heading to identify each subheading, that is written in level 1 header. Yeah. So if it was a level 2 header, you see now I've centered it. If you're seeing how my laptop looks like, I don't know whether you're able to see this. You go to home now. If you go to home, this is centered. Are you able to see that? Because if it was left aligned, this is how it will look like. Do you see the difference? Kasioka, do you see the difference?
Yes, I can.
Mhm. But now, because I want to make it level 1 header, I center it. I bold it the way it is. Every keyword here starts with a capital letter. Yeah. Every keyword. So in APA, all the keywords in your header, including words that are more than 4 letters. 4 letters must start with a capital letter. So for instance, if this was a good header, this will be this way. Yeah. Level 2, because this is a keyword 2. We're talking about level, so level 1, level 2. So this is how it will look like. So this will be the only key letters, the keywords in this. So make sure that this is how you do your headers. Gadoni, are we together? Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Okay, good. So begin writing the first paragraph here and indent it. Ensure that your paragraphs, first of all, your entire document from A to Z must be double spaced. Number 2, ensure that all your paragraphs are indented. So what we're saying here, now if you're using level 1 header in your main document, for sections of any level 1 heading, use level 2 heading, level 2 headings. In other words, you're writing on any issue, like I think we gave it, was that? Okay, Eunice, what are you writing in?
I don't have a topic.
So, so
It's 7 hours.
Let's use what Eunice has said as a research problem. Difficulties identifying research problem. So that is the study that Eunice is doing. Okay. So what are the key words in that? The difficulties, research problem. Maybe it is difficulties identifying graduate research problem. We just want to make it much complicated, graduate research project. So we want to find out, okay, graduate studies, if that is what you're going to look at, level 1. What do you mean by graduate studies? Do you mean master's? Or are you looking at PhD? Is this thesis or dissertation? So graduate study, we already have 2 level 2 headers, because level 1 is going to be graduate studies. You define what graduate studies is, and then you come to thesis as subheading. Okay, unless I write this, some of us may not really understand clearly. So I'm saying here, graduate studies. This is already level 1. So in this, I said, define what you mean by graduate studies. Just as an introduction. And then towards the end of that introduction, you'll be saying, define graduate studies will be conceptualized in this study to refer to, okay, 1 master's or just say thesis and dissertation. to dissertation. Okay, dissertation. So here, I will not call it graduate, I call it graduate projects. Okay, because now I'm focusing on the thesis and the dissertation. So now, because I have introduced what it is that I'm going to talk about in this study, remember this is starting as an indent. So, and this is level 1 header. And we're saying level 1 headers, this is exactly what you're saying here. Use level 2 headings as you progress. Okay, so here we want to look at number 1, thesis project. And then you'll be looking at dissertation project. Thesis projects or project, just put it. So here, because this is level 2, we need to highlight it and ensure that it is left aligned. It starts on the left margin, left aligned. This is what we're talking about here. Level 1 is centered. Level 2 starts on the left margin. Okay, and then the first sentence here starts with an indent because this is a paragraph. Yeah. And do the same here. Indent it, start from there. Okay, so level 2 headings to identify an additional subtopic of the section. So for level 1, it stands on its own. And anytime you're using level 1 in your work, make sure you have at least level 2 headings below, because level 2 is a subheading, subtopic of level 1. So you don't use level 1 and then you go to level 2, you only use one subheading. No. If you're talking about like what Waithera's topic was last week, if Waithera, can you remind us of that? If she's still here, or PW or anyone, Ibui, quickly, anyone, anything. Hey, you guys, are you awake? Give me a topic. I want to give you an example of how to answer this. You guys, you don't have research questions on Elsie. What are you writing on?
I have a topic.
Okay, Werimo.
The relationship between attachment style and stress coping strategies among undergraduate students.
Okay, stress coping, attachment. Okay, let me write it. Let me write it here. So you're saying the relationship between attachment styles of
and stress coping strategies among undergraduates or among undergraduate
so the
students.
relationship between attachment styles and stress
coping strategies.
Coping strategies among undergraduate
students.
Okay, so what do we have here? The keywords here. So what we are saying here are attachment styles affects coping strategies. So this is the independent variable. Is that what you are saying?
Yes.
And this is the outcome. Dependent variable. Okay. So So level 1, we are going to see attachment. Okay, level 1. So you need to define what attachment is. Okay, yeah, attachment. You define what attachment is, who formulated it, when, and why. Okay, just give us, depending on what is required of you at USIU, you need to, attachment. So this is attachment. So are you saying, and that will be, in fact, you're talking about just attachment theory. You will begin by talking about attachment theory. And then under that, you will have, you do the introduction. Attachment was developed by Bowlby in the early 1950s. It was now advanced by Ainsworth in her research in Uganda, and blah, blah, blah. And then you come all the way to how it has developed. So you can say attachment theory, and then maybe the development of attachment theory through as part of it, probably, or it can be a subheading, but it can be as part of it, the development of attachment theory through years. And then somewhere I may want to look at attachment theory. Okay, I'll say comparing infant care taker and adult attachment styles. Okay, so because you're talking about undergraduate, that means these are not children, these are grown-ups. But you remember you are talking about attachment styles. So attachment styles, the way attachment styles is conceptualized in children is different from the way attachment styles are conceptualized amongst adults. But here we're just looking at attachment and coping styles. So what components you need to pay attention to? What components of attachment are you looking at? So in your case, you'll be like, your chances are you might just use depending on what literature says. Yeah. So, and remember, your writing must be very scientific and persuasive. So you can decide to use adult attachment styles because your target population are adults, or you can use the attachment styles that were identified by Ainsworth and Bowlby in their early studies, that the 4 attachment styles, to see how each one of them is used by undergraduate students to cope with stress. So this will be, you've done the introduction under this, but now here, comparing infant caregiver attachment styles, etc. So this will now come to level 2. So for instance, you'll be, all the 4 levels will be identified here as level 2 headers. This was level 1. So level 2 headers will start here. You look at the first one, first attachment style, second, third, and fourth. So that's what we are saying now. The first attachment style is a subsection of the attachment theory. These attachment styles are subheadings. That's what we are talking about here. Yeah. Use level 1 heading for topics of equal importance. For example, no, this is something different. And I think I'm moving into heading levels that, okay, let me just go on. Let me just finish. So And so Waweru, what is her name? Wairemu. So that's what will be expected of you. Now you come to level 1 header. What is stress? You'll define what stress is. Level 2, you'll talk about coping strategies. Because you've talked about stress, define it. Level 2, begin to talk about coping strategies of stress. And then level 3, chances are you will talk about coping strategies and undergraduate studies or students as level 3. So each of those will be subheadings of the general idea, because you have only 2 key variables here: attachment styles and coping strategies. So all your headings will come from here as level 1, and other subheadings will be developed from here. Same to this. And that's why we're saying here, begin when you're talking about level 2, which is normally a subsection of level 1, begin writing the first paragraph of the section here. Use the same level heading for topics of equal importance. Equal importance. Now, if you are, for instance, talking about attachment styles, the 4 attachment styles, then all the 4 attachment styles are of equal importance. They should all be level 2 heading. So you cannot talk about the first attachment style as level 2 head, and then the other one becomes as no. They all of them, because they are identified as attachment styles. So all those styles must be level. Barbara. Okay. So is that clear? What was her name? Waweru. I keep on forgetting.
It's clear. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It's clear.
Okay. So we can move on. Any question from anyone regarding the same? So level 3 heading. Now, notice that level 1 heading is centered. Level 2 header, it is left aligned, begins on the left margin. Left margin. And I said, when you're using level 2 headers, ensure that at least you have 2 level 2 headers. In other words, you have 2 subheadings. For Wairemo's work, at least she has 4 attachment styles that she's most likely going to use. And if she's going to use adult attachment styles, if it was like conceptualizing adult attachment styles, it can either be conceptualized depending on whom you are citing from and how you are conceptualizing. You see, the key thing here, my friends, in research, when you talk about attachment styles, wherever you have to write and say, in this study, attachment styles will be conceptualized as, so that the reader knows what exactly you're referring to. If you choose to use all the 4 styles, use them. If you choose to use only 3 styles, use them. There is nothing wrong, because this is your study. You are limiting yourself. That's the scope of your study, the scope of your methodology, the scope of your independent variable. It is you who knows what you want to do, and your strategy must be very compelling. And so don't just use what other studies have used without any reason. Give a good reason, because you'll be asked, what do you mean by attachments? How do you conceptualize attachment styles? How do you conceptualize a coping strategies? What do you mean? Are these emotional coping strategies? Are these physical coping strategies? Are these spiritual coping strategies? You see, you have not even told us, Wairemu, when you talk about coping, stress coping strategies, are these spiritual? Are these physical? So you need to conceptualize, Wairemu, what exactly, By the way, Wairimu, did you have that in mind?
Yes.
So when you say coping strategies, what do you mean? Are they psychological? Are they spiritual? Are they physical? Financial? What?
I'm focusing on 3 of them: behavior, cognitive, and emotional, based on theory by, there's a theory that covers those 3. So that's what I want to focus on.
Yeah, so then you have to say in this study, coping strategies will be conceptualized as, or it will be used to include this, that, and that, so that the reader knows exactly what you are referring to. Sawa sawa.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Good. So we are looking at now level 3. Level 3, this is how it begins. It is just like level 2, only that it is in italics. So we are saying here, begin writing the first paragraph of this section here as indent. Indent all paragraphs. Kibui, if there is anything I want to emphasize, Gadoni, Judith Kibui, Nice Kimodo, and everybody else, Salome, Waithera, Pius, Pius, Barbara, all of us, Elsie, ensure that all your paragraphs are indented. Tafadhali, don't start a paragraph on the left margin. It's always 1 inch. Use the tab key anytime you're starting a new paragraph, tab key. So for level 2 headers, I said, write it just like level 3. Level 2, the only difference is that it is in italics, just like this one. Level 3 headings are used to identify an additional subsection of the second subheading. So as for Wairimu shared level 1 as attachment theory. Okay, or coping strategies, stress coping strategies. But here we're talking about stress. She talked about stress. She's defined stress as level 1. And then she comes to level 2. She's talking about stress coping strategies. And then she will say, many studies have identified different ways of coping strategies. Some studies tend to identify, and then you can mention a few coping strategies. However, in this study, coping strategies will be the coping strategies that will be used in this study will focus on. Then you talk about that theory, the theory developed by so and so, etc. And then now you are done that under level 2. Then because you want to move to level 3, your reader is following your arguments in this study, or this study will use coping strategies that were developed by so and so in his theory, this, that, and that. And then you stop there, and then immediately after that, you go to level 3. Each one of them, you talked about the 3. So those 3 strategies, you'll identify them under level 3. I don't know whether you're seeing what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say, Wairimu.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and so now you begin, because now you are now identifying those 3 levels under level 3 as part of level 2. Level 2 was coping strategies. Level 1 was stress. So that's how you're moving with your study. So begin for each of those 3 components that you have said, each one of them will be a separate header, and begin by explaining it and show how it is used. Each paragraph, tafadhali, each paragraph must have at least 5 to 6 sentences. We'll be looking at that. Any paragraph with 3 sentences, that's not a paragraph. It's a very incomplete paragraph. Ensure your paragraphs have 5 to 6 sentences. I'll explain why. So begin writing the first paragraph of each section here. Level level headings may not be required. But how many headings are included in the paper depends on the paper's complexity. If it is just a term paper, weekly reflection, whatever, it depends. But for major papers like a thesis, dissertation, my friend, you just have to add there to the required information. So, levels 1, this is just to repeat. So, level 2 headings are used to identify subs. I think this is a repeat of what I've just said. Conclusion. Begin writing the conclusion here. You see, we were looking at the components of a paper, an academic paper. So how do you write conclusion? The conclusion, you don't center the word conclusion. Now, if it is just a class assignment, yes, you might center it, because chances are most of your headings will be level 2, but it's you to decide. If you are going to have several subheadings in your study, ensure that you use the correct headings. But for a thesis, conclusion is never level 1, or a dissertation. It must be level 2. So begin, so don't center it. Like summary, we don't use the word conclusion in chapters. We say summary of the chapter, which is normally level 2. So begin writing here. Use the conclusion section for wrapping up all the main ideas discussed in the paper and for showing how all the main points relate to the thesis statement to help support the claim made in the thesis. In other words, conclusions for any, if it's chapter 1, you go into the background of your study. What was the key point here? Just take 1 or 2 points. You go to the problem statement. What were the key points here in the problem statement? You go to a significance of the study, rationale of the study, justification of your study, etc. And so the conclusion can be 1 paragraph, or chapter summary can be 1 paragraph or 2 paragraphs, but restrict it just to one paragraph. Don't go into many details. 1 paragraph is good enough. Avoid introducing new ideas in the conclusion or beginning with in conclusion. Why should you begin in conclusion when you have already written here its conclusion? Kagimbi, does it make sense?
No.
You've already written here the heading conclusion or chapter summary, and then you begin in summary. Seriously. So the person reading knows that this is, yeah, okay. So references, the word references, it is not reference, but references now comes in as level 1 header. It is always references, not reference. References, center it, bold it, just the way mine looks like. It must be centered, it must be bold. It should not be in capital letters. Salome, don't write it in capital letters. Small letters. Okay? References should be double spaced like the samples. All references should follow APA formatting. So ensure, just like your entire document is double spaced, your references should also be double spaced. Okay? So let me give an example here. So here, if I was doing this as what reference, so I will need to come remove this here. I will format it clearly, remove this, because these are references. Then I come here, I say format, paragraphs. I go to just 00, let me see how it's going to look like. It comes single this way. So all this way, all my references are double spaced. So none of them is, and then I indent this. Yeah, this is what we are talking about here. Salome, are you able to see it clearly?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes, this way. And then don't you think that this is complete? Because let me see, any problem here? Publication of manual, DOI, yes. Okay, this is complete. This is complete. Yes. Yeah, I think everything here is complete. Everything is done correctly. I just wanted to make sure that everything's done correctly. Okay, I need to change. Hey, look here. There is a reason why I want to do this, so that I show you a few components here. Although I'll be looking at it later on, so I don't even have to spend so much time here. But just in case somebody's doing a research project right now, so ensure that this is the order. So I have a lot of, in module 9, we have a lot of exercises to do on this, on references. So you can wait until we get to module 9, where each one of us will be, I'll be giving you articles, and I ask you to write references. Yeah, but this is just basically how they should look like. Ensure that only the keyword, the first word here begins with a capital letter. The rest of the words are in small letters. For this is the header. Make sure that for a book, this is in italics, and on a P is capital, the rest are small letters. And then 7th edition, when you have ED, E, small d, and small e and d, this is edition. But if you had capital D here, following maybe somebody's name, like for instance, in dairy M, and then we have ED somewhere, then it will show there are editors. Capital E refers to editor, coming immediately after the author. It shows that author or those authors are editors of that article. Yeah, and so Daryl M, born to be posthumous, ensure that only B and T are capital, the rest are small letters. Yeah, and then do the same. Akim Y, all these small letters. This is subheading of this. This is the first. This is the main heading, but this subheading only A is capital. The rest are small letters. The journal. Where's the journal? The journal article here. All these will be in what? In the keywords will start with the capital, but we'll look at that later also. Okay, basic setup, APA student paper. So this is the basic setup. Now, the title starts here. Center the title.
If I may ask.
Okay.
We've talked about the alignment and all that for the level 1, 2, 3. I was just concerned about the font sizes.
Okay. Remember, there are 5 levels. I only stopped at level 3. I thought you were going to ask me how about the other 2 levels, and yeah, all the font sizes for your entire document. Your entire document must have, first of all, the font format style should be Times New Roman all through, and then font size must be 12. Don't underline headings. Don't use a full stop unless it is level 4. I have a whole section on the 5 levels, whether it's today or next week. And so I'll be showing you, yeah? So, but do not underline. I know USIU for subheadings in the main body, you write the numbers, isn't it? Wairimu?
Is it any different?
It is quite different, quite different. For us at PAC and APS 7th edition, you don't use number, you don't number your headings. Like if it is
Oh yeah, we number headings. That's true.
you number headings. For us, we don't. APS 7th edition, we adhere to the APS 7th edition style where now headings are not numbered. Yeah. So different institutions use different styles. So when you go to USI, you don't think that, and you look at Wairimu's work, don't think that she has failed. No. She's following instructions from her institution. Yeah, because as I said, different people have, when you go to Rome, do as Romans. Okay, so Pius, I'll be answering that. I have answered that. Same format. Formatting should be, you must maintain the same font 12. Ideally, for all term papers, assignments, major papers, dissertation or thesis, ensure that you maintain font 12. That's so clear. Okay, so let's just look at this paragraph here. Begin the introduction paragraph in an interesting way, like with a quote, or you can quote some statistics. You can say, statistics show that the level of undergraduate students struggling with stress has increased in the last 3 years, and give reasons. Maybe you're talking about COVID, etc. Yeah, and especially if your research is post-COVID outcomes of the impact of stress, the impact of COVID on the impact of, the stress levels of undergraduate students in a relationship to post-COVID period, whatever. I don't know how you want to put it, but that's a different topic. And so, so you can easily say in the last 3 years, because COVID just happened in the last 3 years. So you might then be saying, okay, so it has increased. How was it before? That is in 2019. How was the stress? What were the prevalences of stress levels amongst students, undergraduate students, prior to the onset of COVID? How is it now? What are the percentage? And by what percentage has it increased and why? Somebody will be asking you, which students are you referring to? Are you referring to students in America, in Kenya? What are the different demographics? If the stress levels in Kenya have increased compared to American, so what is happening in the Kenyan context? Because you will start your literature review from global to the local. And so you will be comparing all those to, remember, your arguments, your claims must be compelling. So begin the introduction paragraph in a very interesting, very compelling, very attractive manner, okay? A very thought-provoking question related to the topic. Continue the introduction with the general idea about the topic and end with the specific statements about the focus of the paper. That's the thesis. Like what I've just talked about, the stress levels. Stress levels are common amongst undergraduate students. And you talk about it, etc. And in this paper, then you focus on what exactly you want to talk about. Yeah. For like Wairimu, she might begin with the statistics, like what I said, the stress level amongst undergraduate students has been on the rise in the last 3 years, 5 years. Or you can quote the prevalence, or you can say the impact of stress level on undergraduate students cannot be underestimated. Very interesting manner. Whatever it is, it's up to you. You consult the literature, find out what the statements that have been made and see, oh, I think I can use this one. And then you move on. Avoid statements like, in this paper, use a funnel approach by starting broad and then showing the narrow discussion so that it smoothly transitions to the thesis statement. Remember the purple toenails, the narrow, from 10,000 meters to 1 meter. How do you transition? And the introduction with a focused thesis statement. The thesis should include a claim or a statement, and it should be the last sentence of the paragraph. So these are the 4 elements here. Now, the first one we talked about is the title, paper title. Center the title of the paper above the first paragraph. The first paragraph is here, it's above this. Remember, everything is double space from the paper title all the way to the first line. All these are double space. So there are no 2 spaces here, or this space is no bigger than, because this document has been aligned in such a way that it is double space. The title should be in bold, and in the title case, this is what we're talking about, the keywords starting with this. And then I indent the first line of each paragraph 50 inches from the left margin. If you have a short photo like mine, for me, when I look at a document, I try to assume that I'm taking a photo in my mind. And so anytime I think about it, oh, how was it? And oh yeah, the color, what was the color that Amos showed us? Is this, what color is this? Is this orange? What color is this? PW, which color is this? Is this orange?
I think so. The orange, brown.
I'm glad that I have somebody like me who is also thinking it's orange. Thank you. At least for the first, at least for the first time this morning, you go to the colors, right? So this is orange. It was orange. I remember I asked PW if it is Judith. Judith is thinking, yeah, what did Amos say? I think he asked PW, and the PW said it was this. So this is how the paragraph looks like, and then you have it in your head. And then, oh yeah, double space lines all throughout the paper. Yeah, I think it was, that's what they said, okay? And then the last one was set margins to 1 inch all around the layout in Word. So you go to normal, and then all your page number, all your whatever. So let me get any Word document here. If I'm going to use any Word document here, this is what we are referring to. Let me see. Just allow me to cite a document from one of my students here. Okay, multiple sharing. So multiple sharing, where is this multiple sharing? Okay, so do you see this document here that I'm sharing, the Word document?
No, it's still that PowerPoint presentation.
No.
You're still seeing the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
I want to show the Word document. Are you able to see the Word document now?
Yes.
Yes, my, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I come here. You see, this is centered, that's okay. So if you want to see your page layout, you come to home. Okay, you can come to layout. Ensure that your page layout is the margins. You go to margins here, everything is normal. In other words, 2.54 bottom, top, bottom, left, right, each one of all these. Yeah, ensure that it's normal. So when you type, the last word will be here. And when you just start a new, let's just say a new document here, yeah, and it's normal. Do you know this document here is normal, the one I've just started? You see where the cursor is pointing? it just points there automatically. And when you type, it's going to end somewhere, and then it moves to the next whatever, the next line. Yeah, because that it is set layout normal. So ensure that your page is set to normal, all your documents. And then for margins, because what I normally do, if I want to set all my document to double space, because this has been a problem, so many of you, let me just assume this is one way of doing it. But another way is just to type and then highlight and then set it. Yeah. So I will highlight this document all the way up to where I've reached. If it's 100 pages, are you seeing what I'm showing, Elsie?
Yes.
Yeah. And so I just come to format. I go to format. I'm using MacBook, so I don't know how your laptop is like. I go to page. Then in dictation, I say 0. Then I come here, outside 0. Spacing is 0. After
Mwalimu, we are not using the new document. So you can't see
What?
the one.
Oh,
Yeah, you're just sharing the Word document for your student.
Oh, you're not seeing the new one. Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you for the new one. This is the new one. So are you seeing the new one now?
Yes.
So I said, ordinarily, when you open a new page, it starts here. The cursor just points where it's supposed to be, here. This is the starting point. Start here. Let me write. Start here. So, and you will type all the way, it will show you where it is supposed to end automatically. Yeah. But it starts here. Now, because I want, and this is what I was talking about, you go to normal. Normal. Oh, the top is 2.45, bottom, left, right. Normal. That's how you set your document. All your Word documents are set to normal. In many cases, this should not be a problem. But sometimes I see some documents that are weird. I'm wondering, Sasa, which laptop were you using? So I was saying here, I can highlight all these if I want to set to double space, so that I'm not struggling whether this is double space or not. The headings just come automatically. I said I highlight, I can open up to 100 pages because I know my document is going to be long. I don't want to struggle with the double spacing or what and what. So I can just continue opening all the way to until where I will reach, wherever it is, whether it's going to be 20 pages or whatever. So I continue all the way. Yeah, I can open pages and pages. So this is page 3, page 4, all the way to the end. And then I said, I'll highlight, I come to format. Then from format, I go to paragraph. I just want to be sure my entire document is double space. Indentation here, I write 0. Look, are you seeing? And then
Yes, I can see.
then this one 0. Line spacing, I can come to 0. Then this is before 0. Everything is 0, by the way. Everything is 0. No, everything must be 0, 0, 0. And then line spacing here, I say double. This is default, set as default of my paper. I've set it as default. I will not struggle at all. Only that if I did up to page 4, that's where it will stop. That's why I said, if you know your document is going to be about 50 pages, you can go all the way to 100 pages so that If you go beyond page 51, your default of all the 100 pages is set on double space, and then you can click on OK. You see now it comes automatically. It is already, because I had highlighted this, it's already double space. So any word, anything that I do will be double space automatically. You see, like right now, it is single space. So anything that I do here, oh yeah, it is single space because I entered wrongly. So yeah. So you can change this to single space if you want to. If you want to. From double space, you can go to single. You see, it's automatically set to double. So I can set this to single. And then I start all my paragraphs with the indent. So another alternative you can also do is just after you've done your paper, you want to set it to double space, just highlight your entire paper and then just repeat what I said. This, and then double space goes to this. So there are several ways, 2 ways. You either set your entire document before you start working on it as double space, or after you've completed your work, you highlight it, and then you do the double space. And where there were extra spaces, you may need to go through the entire document and remove them manually. Good. Any question so far? You can still also do this, just like my friend here did her work. Let me see here. You see, like what I was saying, USIU, for these headings, this is level 1 header. If she was in USIU, she would have done, this is how it would look like. Okay, these are the preliminary pages, the ones I was talking about. All of them must be single space, level 1 headers.
Mwalimu,
Yeah?
I can't be able to see anything. I don't know whether it's my screen.
I made a mistake. I didn't
It
go.
shows a picture.
Yeah, sorry. I made a mistake. I didn't go back to this document. Sorry. You're right. So I think now you can see. Are you able now to see?
Yes, I can see now.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
I was saying all these pages, declarations. This is. Remember, page numbers are never on the cover page. Don't put page numbers on the cover page. And you know how to insert page numbers. No, you start from, so what you only need to do, many students will ask, so how do you do that without, you come to page numbers here and don't show. Click here, don't show on the first page. And then make sure that all your page numbers are on the top header APA. All the page numbers must be top header, left, flash right here, and then you click OK. So they will start just like this one, page number 1 here, where it is declaration. You come to abstract here, level 1 header. Abstract, as I said, and you know, it's not never double space. It is not. Don't you indent abstract. Abstract is the only document in your entire work that is a single space. There are no paragraphs in the abstract. Abstract, just write the way it is, single space, no paragraphs. Okay, all through, and ensure that it is the number of words that you've been asked. So acknowledgement, dedication, and all. So for USIU, the table of contents will have like this might be. I'm starting like level 1 here. So here will be 1 of 1 or 100, and then this will be. Do you see where my cursor is? introduction and background to the study. Judith, are you seeing it?
Yes.
So for our friend Wairimo, it will be like, she will be writing, oh, sorry. So you go to the table of contents, because I clicked on it. So for Wairimo, our friend Wairimo here, she'll be writing here. Because she's writing, she's labeling her. Okay, where is that? Oh, sorry. So she'll write here, one, chances are full colon 00. And then she come here, 1 colon 01, 01, 1 0, 1 colon 02, 1 colon 03. Isn't that what you do, Wairimo?
Yes, that's what we do.
Yeah. So she's saying all these headings are a part of the key level 1 header. So this one, it starts as 100. So this is 101, 102, 103, 10, this. And then here she will say 200, 201, 2011. Now, do you see the difference? Because this is now, this is level 1, level literature chapter, level 2, then this is level. No. This is still level 1, level 2. I was looking for level 3 header. We don't have it here. Because for us, we only have, even for the table of contents, APA 7th edition, ensure that you don't go all the way to level 3. You just use level 1 and level 2. So this is the same thing, 300, 301, 302, etc. Chapter 4, you do the same, 401. That is at USIU, but don't do that at Park University and APA. So the same thing, you don't come and now label in your document here. If I was Wairimo, so I start here, where am I, 01. I don't know how you do the preliminary pages. So here, because it was 100. So this is how Wairimo is going, her paper is going to look like. So, and then she'll come here now, 101. So we don't do this at Park and in APA, because we know, anybody who knows this knows that this is level 2. So I don't have to name it or label it, number it for my reader, because the person reading this document, we have given them the instructions that our students use level APA. This is the format. So they have instructions. So when they're reviewing the students' work, they already know what to expect. So this is level 2. If the students using level 3, this is how it's going to look like. If the students are going to use level 4, if this was level 4, this is how it will look like in this document. This will be level 4, so you don't have to label it. This is the only one that ends with a full stop, and it's the only one that starts on the same line. And then this is level 4, APA level 4, APA level 5 looks like this. Sawa. So, but we'll be looking at this later on in detail. So you need to familiar, these things just need to come automatically. You need just to know them automatically so that there's no big deal as you do it. Okay. Back to where we were here. Say that I'm moving back and forth, so just understand that. So we're done with this. Any question regarding this? Any question? So the body of the paragraph. So the body of the paragraph, you need to pay attention to these 3 elements. use the appropriate level heading for each section of the paper. Not all papers will require headings. You only need to follow the instructions from your instructor, what your instructor requires of you in that given paper. So, for instance, we're talking level 1 headings are used to identify level 1 heading identifying first topic after introduction. Here, what do you do? So the body of the paper should support the thesis statement. Focus each paragraph on one idea. So if we are talking about coping strategies, that idea should be like, you're looking at first of all, you've defined stress coping strategies. And in that paragraph, you probably may just want to list a few coping strategies, because the paragraph is on coping strategy, stress coping strategies. Now, the next paragraph will be probably identifying details of each of the 4 coping strategies or 3. So the first paragraph after that will be on, which ones were you talking about, Wairimu? You talked about 3? Emotional. So you talk about emotional coping strategies. Focus only on emotional. Don't talk about anything else, and give details. For instance, a study done by so and so showed that emotional stress coping strategies is useful for whatever it is, etc. But before that, you have to say emotional strategies, define it, and then give examples of studies that talk about the importance of emotional as a stress coping strategy. Then you go to the next paragraph. You talk about the behavioral.
It's 8 hours.
Identify the types of okay, you can talk about the behavioral, etc. And then go to the other one. It was emotional, behavioral, and what? She said something. Yeah. So each of those paragraphs are talking about one thing. That's why we are saying here, each paragraph should only focus on one main idea, ensuring the main idea of each paragraph supports the thesis statement. Why? Because those 4 different coping strategies support the idea. The idea here is stress coping strategies amongst undergraduate students. Each paragraph should include the following items. Include a topic sentence that reflects the main idea of the paragraph. A very, very powerful way of introducing your paragraph. It is based on the type of topic sentence that you use. Okay? Also include supporting details, evidence such as paraphrased or summarized information from sources, and include an analysis of the supporting details, could be in the form of percentages or outcomes, etc. And the paragraph with a linking sentence that provides a glimpse of the next paragraph's main idea. This is exactly what I've just been saying. So you come from stress, you have defined what stress is, how the impact of stress, etc. And then you're moving, okay, nowhere is stress impacted the most apart from academic settings. So you've just talked about general stress in marriages, general stress in workplaces, what and what. Now you are narrowing your reader to where you want to talk about, but you began with the general talk on stress. So now you narrow it to academic setting. So you talk about academic setting, and academic setting is broad, and now you narrow it to undergraduate students. So now then the reader will know that you're moving from broad, and the next paragraph will be talking about undergraduate students. Or the next paragraph, the last sentence of that first paragraph will be like, university students. And then here, just a moment. Here, you will be talking about undergraduate students. So no, you're talking about university students. And so when you talk about university students, the next paragraph will now begin to, in the university setting, many students who struggle most or experience stress the most are undergraduate. Give rationale. Or you can start with the general statement. The prevalence of stress amongst undergraduate students is high. So you are moving from general to, you're focusing your student to a specific, or not student, reader to a specific area. Are we getting it? Maybe. Any question? Any question, guys? Any question? I'm in a meeting, I'm missing this one. Okay, so I'm coming. I'm joining. Hello, guys. Hello. Hello.
Hi, Molly.
Yes, Mwalimu.
Hello,
Yeah, Mwalimu.
we are here.
I had forgotten the defenses was starting at 8. I thought it was 9. That's why they are calling me. And I'm the one reviewing the work. Let me sign out. Can we meet? They're waiting for me. Thank you. I need to sign out. Poleni.
It's okay, Mwalimu. Thanks.
It's okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mwalimu.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.